Students, today we'll solve another problem on trusses. Okay. In the previous session, we had completed a problem on truss with the two members, and also I had given one problem for you to solve by yourself. Okay. Next, problem number 3. Okay. What is it and what we have to determine? We'll see the statement. Consider a 3-bar truss. So this is the 3-member bar truss member. Okay, 3-member truss bar shown in the figure. Determine the nodal displacement, strain, stress, and support reactions. Okay, the same things have to be determined. Only thing is they have given you area A1 as 1500 mm square, A2 and A3 are 2000 mm square. Young's modulus E1, E2, E3 means all the three components are made of same material with 2 into 10⁵ MPa. Okay. Carefully observe the problem. This problem is having three members. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this is how it is. Okay, so they have given you the problem member numbers also. This is my 1, this is second element, and this is third element. Okay, to maintain see here you can do the element numbering and node numbering as you wish also, but I have taken this as my first element, first node, second node, and third node. Okay. Before I go ahead and solve the problem, okay, we'll just discuss the problem here. They have given you the height as 400 mm and width as 400 mm here and here. Okay, I don't think it will be difficult for you to determine the length. The length of this element becomes 800 because this plus this. Okay, to determine the length of element 2, we need to take this Pythagoras right angle triangle and apply Pythagoras theorem, because this is 400 and this is 400. It becomes somewhere 565 something. Okay, again if you just take this right angle triangle, apply Pythagoras theorem, you can determine a length of the element 3. Okay, so that's not a big deal. Now the problem comes while taking the angle theta. Okay, you see here, determining the length and determining the angle theta majorly completes the problem. The only difficulty in this trusses is to take the angle theta. See this length, element 1 is horizontal. Now identify its local node 1 and 2 in this step only. So you want element 1 to be connected between 1 and 2, element 2 to be connected between 2 and 3, element 3 connected between 3 and 1. You can do like this also. Okay, now when I take this element 1, its local node 1 is 1, its local node 2 is 2. Now what is the angle made by this element at its local node 1? That is 0 degrees. Okay, at this node, if I go on measuring this, theta 1 will be 0 degree. Okay, now we'll see what is the angle made by element 2. Here you need to concentrate more. See here, element 2 is connected between 2 and 3. Its local node 1 is 2, if for my instance. Okay, I'll take it as 2, and local node 2 is 3. Okay, now if I keep and if I need to calculate the angle of it, angle can be calculated, angle has to be calculated at its local node 1, that is 2. At this node I have to determine the angle. Then how to determine? To measure in counterclockwise direction. Okay, measuring the positive horizontal axis, then measure the angle theta. This is the theta. Okay, to get this theta to, how to do this is, if I take a vertical line, it becomes 90 degree here. Okay, plus this angle. This angle how can I determine? If I take this as opposite and this as my adjacent, taking tan theta is equal to opposite by adjacent, then theta is tan inverse of this. So you can get this value first. Okay, this plus 90 degree give me the angle theta 2. See here, my theta 2 is obtuse angle. Okay. Next comes to theta 3, that is identifying this angle of 3. I will take element 3 as this one. Its local node 1 is 3. It is connected from this point to this point. Okay, its local node 1 is 3 and its local node 2 is 1. Okay, now if I try to determine its angle will be measuring from positive axis. This is the angle theta 3. Okay, if this is theta 3, how to determine it? I can take up to this. Okay, if you determine this angle plus 180 degree, you can get theta 3. Okay, remember the definition of theta. Theta is the angle made by its local node 1. Theta is the angle made by its local node 1 when measured in counterclockwise direction. Okay, when measured in counterclockwise direction. That's how it goes. This is the angle theta 3. Okay, you can also take element 3 connected between 1 and 3. If you take like this, its local node 1 as 1 and its local node 2 as 3, then this will be my theta 3. Okay, that is also correct, but only thing is, in your element connectivity table, where what you have written element local node 1 and 2 depends on that where you have to take the theta. Okay, again while taking this problem, we will see it. Apart from this, you can see something else here in the boundary conditions. The boundary condition 1 is, you can see, fixed, whereas at the node 2 boundary condition, you can see some circles drawn here. It means that it is a roller support. It means roller support means what? This can move in x direction like this, front and back. Okay, but its vertical motion is restricted. Okay, what does this mean is, this roller support, this type of roller support which are resting on x horizontal axis, are free to move in x direction. Okay, but they are fixed in y direction. Okay, so boundary condition for first node 1 is u1 and v1 will be 0, but boundary condition for node 2 will be only v2 will be 0. Okay, only v2 will be 0. That's the other part. There are certain cases you can also have rollers like this. On y plane. Okay, if it is on y plane, means what happens, v is we can have displacement, but u is 0. Okay, such cases. And you can see the force applied is only 1, that is 150 kilonewton applied at node 3 in vertical direction, that is y3 f3y. F3y is present. F3y is present, and it is in downward direction, so it becomes negative. Okay, that's it. Next we'll solve the problem. Element connectivity table. Element 1 is connected between 1 and 2. Element 2 is connected between 2 and 3. Element 3 is connected between 3 and 1. Okay, why I am writing this element connectivity table, I have explained it in previous problem also. Okay, for element 1, you have to measure theta at node 1. Means as good as you are going to keep a protector center at node 1 for that element 1. For element 2, you will keep the protector at node 2, and for element 3, you will keep the protector at node 3. That's it. Okay, it is not always. If at all you want, you can change this. Instead of writing 3 and 1, you can write 1 and 3, but in that case you have to keep the protector at node 1. Okay, hope you have understood this, or else you have to revisit this video again and again. Okay, Now I will calculate the length of the elements. Element 1 is having a length of 800 mm. Element 2 square root of 400 square plus 400 square 565.68. Element 3 is also having the same length 565.38. Okay. Now to calculate theta, first node is first element is 0 degrees. For second element I will take that vertical angle. This I just explained you. This I am going to calculate first, and then plus 90 degrees will give me theta 2. Okay, so theta 2 is making 135 degree, and similarly if I take theta 3, it is reflex angle 180 plus I have to do. Okay, that is 225 degree. Now next, after doing this, to make our element stiffness matrix easy, as I had said, we will write an element table which comprises of determining what is its cos theta, sin theta and all. Okay, for element 1, 2, 3, lengths are already determined, thetas are also fixed. Determine cos theta, sin theta, cos square theta, sin square theta, and lastly cos theta into sin theta. Okay, so substitute the determine all the values, and then go to step 3. Step 3 is what? Element stiffness matrix. Okay, element stiffness matrix K1, A1 E1 by L1, C square CS. Okay, this I have written only the upper triangle matrix of it, because it is symmetry in nature, so all the values will be written here at the last step. Okay, to make our method easy, we can directly write only the upper triangle matrix, substitute all the values, and at the end K1 values based on those C and S values, C square CS values, you fill it, and you can, at the end everything is ready, means you fill all the values of that stiffness matrix. Okay, that is only work out for half the matrix, and later half will be copied down directly. Similar, again here K1, element stiffness matrix 1, is between node 1 and 2, remember it. So for that u1 v1 u2 v2 are the displacement associated with u1 v1 u2 v2. See this element connected table carefully. Element 1 is between 1 and 2, so you have to write first 1 u1 v1, next you have to write for second node, that is u2 v2. Okay, I have intentionally made this discretization in this method so that you can understand the complexity of different types of problems. Okay, next, second element is having A2 E2 by L2, C square CS, C square CS, all those values. K2, substitute value of C and S. Okay, compute the outside value, that is A2 E2 by L2, keeping 10⁵ outside, multiply to each term, you will end up with this K2 matrix. Okay, this is my final K2 element stiffness matrix for second element. This element is between node 2 and 3, so it is u2 v2 u3 v3, u2 v2 u3 v3. Okay, up to these points you are okay. Come to the last element stiffness matrix E3 E3 by L3. Substitute the values of C and S in the matrix. Okay, see there carefully the negative symbol, some cos theta or sin theta values are negative. Okay, fill those values correctly, and the formula also has some negative symbols, so you manipulate and calculate the values correctly. Determine K3 value, that is K3 stiffness, final stiffness matrix. This element is between node 3 and 1. See this table. This element K3 is between 3 and 1. So for this you will be having writing displacement u3 v3 first, then u1 v1. u3 v3 u1 v1. Okay, u3 v3 u1 v1. Now if some students have a doubt, sir, instead of writing this element table, element 3 is between 3 and 1, if I write it as 1 and 3, If you write 1 and 3, then it will be u1 v1 first and then u3 v3. Okay, in that case you have to write like that. Now after writing this element stiffness matrix for third element, write the global stiffness matrix, keeping 10⁵ outside. Okay, again this is having 3 nodes. Okay, each node is having 2 degrees of freedom. 3 to the 6. 6 by 6 is the matrix what we get. We have drawn 6 rows and 6 columns, and the displacement associated with the are u1 v1 u2 v2 u3 v3 u1 v1 u2 v2 u3 v3. Carefully observe for u1 row, u1 column, u1 row, u1 column. See here, u1 row, u1 column. Where is it? u1 row, u1 column is present here. u1 row v1 column is present here. u1 row u2 column is present here. u1 row v2 column is present here. Okay, those value I have written. Okay, I'll be telling only for u1 because u1 is now present at all the 3 stiffness matrix. Next, go to second element stiffness matrix. Okay, coming to the third stiffness matrix. u1 is absent in the second. We will go to third stiffness matrix. See, u1 is present here. u1 row, u1 column is present here. u1 is here. You have to add this value. Okay, next, u1 row, v1 column, it is added here. Okay, next, u1 row, u3 column, u3 has to come here. u1 row with v3 column. Okay, carefully those cell values only have to be manipulated there and added directly to those global stiffness matrix. Okay, after writing this global stiffness matrix, the next step is writing this. In this matrix, what I have done is I have simplified those. I have added all those values and all. Okay. Next comes to element displacement, nodal displacement matrix q, u1 v1 u2 v2 u3 v3. Force fx, f1x, f1y, f2x, f3y, f2y, f3x, f3y. Okay, f1x, if you just recall the problem at node 1, at node 1 there is no force applied, but there are reactions generated, r1x and r1y. r1x and y are the reactions generated here. Now see here, in the second node, because it is free to move in x direction. Okay, because it is free to move in x direction, there is no reaction generated in x direction, and because there is a restriction in y direction, it is displacement is 0, then r2y is the reaction which is present at node 2. Okay, and node 3 x direction there is no force, but y direction there is 150, that is in negative direction, downward direction. So you can see my final force vector. f1x is nothing but reaction at that node, r1x. f1y is reaction at node 1 in y direction, r1y. f2x is 0, there is no reaction or force applied. f2y is r2y, the reaction at that node. f3x, there is no force applied, but f3y, it is minus 150 kilonewton. Okay, now write k into q is equal to f. K is the global stiffness matrix. Okay, q is the global displacement vector and f is the global force vector. Okay, writing this, and then write the boundary conditions. Boundary conditions when you write. Okay, what are the boundary conditions? u1 is 0, that is first node is totally fixed. u1 and v1 both are 0, but second node, it is having roller support, it is free to move in x direction, the rollers are in x direction, and y direction it is free, fixed, so v2 becomes 0. The corresponding u1, v1 and v2 are removed off. u1, v1 and v2, they are removed off. Okay, step 7, you have to calculate the displacements. So I have written the reduced this matrix directly into the displacement which are to be determined are u2, u3, v3, Okay, solve for second node, solve for this above matrix. Okay, by using the elimination method or anything, you will determine u2, u3, v3. After determining this u2, v3, u3, calculate the strain. Strain is b into q. B is 1 by L minus C minus S. Here substitute the value of the length of that element, C and S values from the element table. Determine the strain. Strain is 2.5 into 10 raised to minus 4. Okay. Stress, if you determine E into strain, it is that comes out to be 50 MPa for this first element, that is the horizontal element which is at the bottom side. Okay. Coming to the second element, B into Q, 1 by L minus C minus S, and CS, u2, v2, u3, v3. Substitute the values of that. Okay, strain you will get minus 2 into 2.649 into 10 raised to minus 4, and if you calculate stress, E into strain, it is minus 52.99 MPa. Okay, coming to the third element. Okay, B into Q, 1 by L minus C minus S, CS. Okay, and u3, v3, u1, v1. See then again here you have to write the displacement in the serial manner, how they are connected. My first node, local node for this element 3 is 3, so u3, v3 is first written, then u1, v1. Okay, those things keep it in mind and substitute it, and then you will determine the strain as minus 2.649 into 10 raised to minus 4, and stress is again minus 52.99 MPa. Now calculate the reactions. Okay, reactions, how to calculate? If you go with this my fifth equation, step 5. Okay, in step 5, R1x has to be determined, means if you have to multiply the first row with this u1, v1, u2, v2 columns. You want to determine R2, means multiply second row with this one. If you want to get R2y, you multiply this fourth row with this one, you will get the corresponding values. Okay, if you see R1x, if you just simplify it, okay, substituting that values, minus 58 Newton. Minus 58 Newton is the force in x direction, reaction force. So, solving for a second row, R1y, you will get 74.942 kilonewton, that is positive, and solving the fourth row, 74.942 kilonewton is the reaction force at second node. Okay, I had said you all again to check my answers are correct or not. At this step you can get it. See here, you can see the stresses generated. Stress generated in second node, second element and third element, they are almost same, because it is symmetry in nature, right? The load applied is exactly in the middle, and the length of the elements are also same, areas are also same, and the stresses are also same almost. Okay, and then coming to the reactions, 150 kilonewton is the negative force applied. Applied force is 150 kilonewton. The reaction, if you see, 74.9 in y directions, it is again approximately equal to 150 in upward direction. Yes or not? You can see this R1x minus 58 Newton. When you compare 150 kilonewton force applied, 58 Newton is a very small amount of force. Okay, equal to, you can say, somewhere around 5 kg. Okay, that's okay. Coming to the next problem, problem number 3. I have solved it, and I have given you the, I'll give you the notes. I want you all to solve this problem number 4. Problem number 4 is also same. Okay, in this again there are 3 elements only, 3 members only. Okay, only difference is the length of the elements goes on changing, and if you okay, I think area is not written. I'll write the areas and send you for this. Okay. Mm. My first node is here, second node and third node. Sorry, first element, second element and third elements are given to you. My first node is this one, second node is this one, and third node will be this. Okay. The problem is similar, but the angles goes on changing. My first node element is at this node. See here, in this problem you can write your own local nodes, local node 1 and 2. You can make a difference, but those nodal displacements will come out to be same, 1 2 3. Okay. If you want to take this as node 1 for this element, or also you can take this as node 1 for this element. If you take this as node 1, the angle is 0. Okay. If you take this node 2 as my first node, then it becomes 180 degrees. Okay. Now if you take for element 2, my local node 1 as 2 and local node 2 as 3, the angle will be 90 degrees. Okay. And going to element 3, if you take this as my element 3, okay, my local node 1 as 1 and local node 2 as 3, if you take like this, then this will be your theta 3. Remember it. If you take element connective table, my local node 1 to be as 3 and local node 2 as 1, in that case my angle will be reflex angle theta 3. Okay. Now try to solve it. Okay, and let me know if there are any difficulties. And collecting the answers for this truss problem number 2 4, I'll take after this another problem that I'll solve after that, problem number 5. I'll also ask you to solve truss problem on 6. So 2 4 and 6 I'll collect the answers at a time. Okay, thank you.